Okay, we're going to dive pretty deep today into looking at some C6 voicings in regards to what happens on pedal 7 and pedal 8 in the C6 tuning, and kind of where I find some of that on my guitar, and then also where I kind of differ and for what purpose that I really kind of split this off in a couple different areas, and we'll see what we can accomplish with that. Now, we get in today talking about pedal number 7 on the C6 guitar. That's the strings that just basically are C and A that get pulled up a whole tone. And so we do the very same thing with pedal 6 on my guitar. Now, if I engage my tuning with my C6 knee lever, which is my left knee left, then I also have this bottom note, the A, that I pull down as well, which for me, the A note is really here at the first fret, and so that's the bottom note in the C6 tuning. You've probably heard many times that kind of thing that happens on the 8th pedal, but I do it on a knee lever, and here's why. Because I want to be able to have this minor 7, which is this right here. So we can look at the C position is just simply these 3 notes, and of course you get the C6 with that right there. Now, if you play the bottom A, then it becomes something totally different. Actually, becomes a minor chord. And then if I get my bottom note available to me, which is A, then I've really got this full voicing of a minor 7th chord. So by being able to lower my 8th string or my bottom string with the knee lever and then not really engage anything else, my tuning there just becomes a minor 7th chord. Now here's where we kind of go into the conversation of what do we do with this whole tone raise in the C6 tuning. Well, we know from a C perspective it gives us a major 7. That's very accomplishable, and you hear that voicing all of the time in the C6 guitar. And then add that note there, and you get a C major 9. So we hear this quite a bit in the C stylings. Okay. Now, if we add the A note, it becomes a A minor. In this case, when we engage the pedal, an A minor 9. So now what I would like to accomplish is having that A big bottom note to really frame that voicing, and then I've got this A minor 9 right here, or D minor 9 when I'm at the 6th fret. So you can see how full that becomes in the minor 9 mode. Okay? Stay with me here. If I then hit my next string that's pulled by that pedal a whole tone, it actually becomes an 11th. So now we have a really, really nice voicing by just adding one more string. So I might like to do stuff like this, where I'm going to be minor 7. Okay, just my knee lever. And now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit a minor 9 in this position. And then maybe I'm going to go back down here and go back to the minor 7. And when I go back to G, maybe I'd like to go ahead and hit that 9th or the 11th note as well. Really creates a nice extended motion. So just to kind of give you a hint of that sound and why I keep this bottom note here to frame all that, it gives me real full voicings like this. So just a real simple pattern that we do, like in Shadow of Your Smile. You can hear that minor 7th being used right there. And then again, I'm going to come to the minor. So by having that bottom note in those minor chords, really gives me a lot of movement. So now let's go on and let's talk about the major side of that in the pedal number 7 here on my guitar. And just to tell you what pedal number 7 on my guitar does, I'm going to take my B notes. So let's just think here again in E, B, the B notes. Everybody kind of frames that, and you're an E9 player, strictly you're thinking strings 5 and 10. And so for us here on my setup, we're thinking 5 and 9. So we've got our B's. I just simply pull those up a half step, both of them. This is not anything uncommon in the world of different steel guitar competence. So many times I'll just think of this as an augmented chord on the bottom side. When we begin to then step back and frame this in more of a C perspective, then by raising those B's, it becomes very characteristic and mirrors the pedal number 8 in a C6 motion, or in a C6 mode. It gives you a major 7th chord, or a dominant 7th chord in this case. So most any C player that starts out, when they figure out the 8th pedal, which is one of the coolest things to do, to knock that note down like that. And then of course the other strings that are engaged is going to be E, and then they're going to have a C sharp in there as well to make for the 3rd of the A chord. And so when I hit this, I also use my 5th string, and we can get into, I mean, I know in the C6 tuning that's tuned to a C, which gives the sharp 9, but simply put, I've got sharp 9s in a lot of different places on the guitar. So we'll discuss that at another conversation, but for today, just looking at my pedal 7, raising those B's, puts me in that A position that you typically have at an open position for the C6 player. Right there. Okay? So we essentially have the same thing with that note, but now, because we can work in and out of this minor side, we go back down to the minor 7, and then we go hit the major. So maybe you've seen the tune I've done, and actually it's just a practice session that I'm kind of experimenting with all this. I called it Fruit Loop because I had a Fruit Loops shirt on, and I think when I'm done with that little song, it's actually going to be kind of a loop that's kind of playing just over and over. So that's kind of where we're going with that. But it comes out of this perspective here of minor 7s, minor 9s, and 11s. And then of course we're able to hit that in a 4 kind of position, and then of course you get your major. So hopefully that helps you a little bit understand why that I wouldn't just simply take my far pedal over here and lower those strings into to mirror exactly what the C6 tuning does. And it's because I'm trying to accomplish getting that voicing with that A notes at the bottom. And also on some solo styling things that I do when I begin to play solos and melodies.